They looked like the U.S.
Shalom, it's the brother Kadash. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, honors to all the brothers in this truth. So this is just more on these militias, man. These different militias that's starting to come out. You know, they're not hiding anymore. They're starting to come out. They're starting to have encounters and come together with other militias, man. And you know, they're kind of having a couple run-ins with each other, you know, where things are getting kind of out of control. But you can see pretty much that the stage is being set, you know, because most of these militias is based off race. Race plays a part in it, you know. You might have a white militia, they might have 2 or 3 Jakes in it, but race plays a part in it, man. So yeah, it's people against people, and the thing is, it's like eventually these, because this one that I'm showing you on the screen, they said they was out there for hours, and the sheriff, police, nobody came out there. So anybody, all it takes is one shot to go off, and when that one shot go off, all these militias are going to start getting information. They going to start getting down, man, and bodies going to start dropping. That's all it takes. It hasn't happened yet because the Lord hasn't deemed it to happen yet, but you can see the stage being set, man. When the Lord deems it and he pressed the green light on it, it's going to be ugly. And the thing is like, it's going to be a chain reaction. Just in that location, wherever location it pops off and it start off at, it's going to spread all over the United States, because these militias have ties. They have connections, you know, throughout all the states, people in different states that's a part of a militia, man. So when they find out this leader got killed, or this person that they love got killed, and this meetup, they gonna go against each other, kind of like how the Blood and Crips go against each other. Now, if you know anything about the Blood and Crips, it's not just in L.A. It's in Chicago. I mean, it's in all different cities. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. So they all go against each other. It's gonna get bad, man. And the thing is, when it starts, it's not gonna stop until the end is here. This is Matthew chapter 24. Let me pull this and then I'm gonna let this play, because we've been going into Matthew chapter 24 a lot for everything, man. Actually, this is a very like my favorite chapter is Isaiah 14. Now, my favorite book is Revelations, but Matthew's 24, man, that got a lot of meat on it. A lot of meat. Matthew's chapter 24, right? Let's just get straight to the point. Verse 6. And ye should hear of wars and rumors of wars. These are going to be small wars. You know, militia versus militia. That's a war. See that ye be not troubled. All these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So you're going to see all these things, but it's not the end yet. The end going to be when the Lord crack that sky and those missiles come over here. For nations shall rise against nations, right? You got nations against nations. You know, you got Esau against Jacob. You got nations in the sense we use them today against nations, and kingdoms against kingdoms, and there should be famines, pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. Because what do you think? When all hell break loose, man, you're gonna have different militias setting up shop and controlling stuff, controlling the food that comes in this part. You see what I'm saying? Not letting their enemies get it. You know, they're gonna be going to war with the government. The government's gonna be completely shut down and taken out, man. So it's going to be all hell breaking loose. Let's let this play a little bit.
Army is on the streets. But in fact, these are militiamen with their own alarming agenda. We were witnesses to this extraordinary development. A major US city in the hands of self-confident and heavily armed militias, with police and civic leaders nowhere to be seen. It was a brazen show of...
Salaki.
of strength, with an unmistakable message that there are new sheriffs in town.
Rioting and burning and looting is not going to answer that question.
Angry Viking is a militia commander who told me he wants dialogue.
And we're here just to protect the building. That's it. And we're here to do this. Meet and talk. You was going to allow it to happen.
But that dialogue quickly descended into furious arguments. Black Lives Matter activists, who have held a vigil here for 100 days, say the militias are a pure provocation.
You got angry Vikings out there. You got Black Lives Matter. Who else could we have?
Tired, exhausted, worn out. What else do you want me to say?
Do you think it'll end up as a fight?
Yes, yes. People are going to die, bro. People are going to die. I don't know who's going to be.
Which militia are you from? Many of these disparate groups,
They won't even say.
which militia are you from, had no interest in identifying themselves. Sir, which militia are you from?
We are all Americans here. We're all Americans here. We're all here for the same. We're all here actually against you as well.
Okay, you got the Americans militia. Esau Edom, man.
Here against. You're impeding me from moving my group that way. Right now, are you not? Yes, you are.
I'm asking you what you're doing here on the streets of this city.
Well, first off, you're not American.
One of the most bizarre features here is this mosaic of different groups.
Okay, you got Trump people out there, Trump supporters.
We've got militias, we've got other armed groups who refuse to identify themselves. All of it is a recipe for confusion on the streets of Louisville and potentially for chaos.
I'm not going to bring a knife to a gunfight, sir.
And here's the danger. Americans are arming up. Nadia Ford, a grandmother, arrived here with multiple weapons to confront the white militia.
We've tried peaceful for years upon years, and it has gotten us nowhere. They murder us for being peaceful. So only when we stand up do they maybe take us seriously. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to stand up against this hate in America.
Eventually, some police did break cover.
Okay,
And this
police
civil
came
rights
out.
lawyer, heavily armed himself, said his aim was to run the militias out of town amid multiple threats to his life.
Yeah, you got a civil rights attorney. I mean, didn't the police show up on the scene later?
They said they're going to blow out the back of my brains and they'll find out where I live, etc.,
But
etc.
where is America that a lawyer has to walk the streets with body armor, a pistol, and a long arm?
Thank you. Well, because I'm going to defend myself and I'm not going to be shot down in the streets.
America's militias...
Man, look, when bullets get to flying, you can have a gun all you want and still die, man. And, man, they got bulletproof vests on out there, AR-15s. They got heavy weapons out there, man. Camo.
Emboldened at this volatile moment, emerging out of the shadows in a way I have never seen before.
When I move you to the street, you will load your weapon.
Oh, shit. There go the black militia. What's that, the NFC or something like that? So now you got the black militia. Shit.
A few miles up the road, we saw a whole new phenomenon. An African-American militia with hundreds of troops. They have a black nationalist agenda. It's as much a cult. It is well organized and quasi-military. It also proves a militia does not have to be white and right-wing.
Those
As
boys out there
hundreds of their
deep.
armed followers march through a residential suburb,
I'll call in reinforcements.
we glimpse their mysterious leader, known as Grandmaster Jay. He is a charismatic but enigmatic figure.
Move! 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 Clear out!
Fearing assassination, his bodyguards surround him at every moment.
Jay's moving back, y'all. Jay's moving back.
What is clear is that these militias have a new swagger. While the election campaign gathers pace, other forces are showing they will fill the security void after this long summer of protests and violence. Robert Moore, News at 10, in Louisville, Kentucky.
Well, let's leave it there, man. I mean, they all meeting up. They was just a couple miles down the street from the other ones. Looked like they was marching to that direction. So they all meeting up, man. They coming together. They deep. They got body armor on. They got leaders. They got formation. They got walkie-talkies. Man, what do you think is gonna happen? They just gonna have meetings and everybody's gonna end up going home and giving up all this and letting it go? No, man, they got their guns out there and their weapons out there because they're about to use them. It's gonna come a day, man, where a shot gonna be let off, man. They are gonna use them, just like you got with these nations. Matthew 24 says nation against nation, kingdom versus kingdom, because you got all these different kingdoms, these different nations, China, Russia, America, Israel, Iran, stuff like that. And these different nations got rockets. Some of them got nukes. You think that they're spending billions of dollars to develop those weapons and buy them? If they don't plan on using them, they're going to use them, man. All of the nukes are going to be used one day. And that's going to be complete destruction. That's what the Bible talks about in books like Revelation 6, Revelation 8. Let's pull the script, man. This is 2nd Address 15, because what's a better script to explain this? It's the perfect one. Revelations chapter, not Revelation, 2nd Address chapter 15. Slip of the tongue, my bad. Let's start at verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. That's me and you, man, and everybody else. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. The sword, the gun. The sword just mean a weapon. You know, what the gun is a weapon. And anything else they use for it to be a weapon. And their destruction draweth nigh. Like I said, eventually destruction is going to come. That's exactly what I said. It draweth nigh. And one people should stand up to fight against another. Black militia groups should fight against white militia groups. Trump supporters should fight against Biden supporters. Black Lives Matter should fight against All Lives Matter, man. That's what it's talking about. One people should stand up to fight against another. And swords in their hands. What do these people got? This guy right here, if you're looking at the screen to your right, behind this guy Jay. What do he got in his hand? He got a sword in his hand. For there shall be sedition among men, and evading one another. They should not regard their kings nor princes. So there is sedition. That's why they all out there, because of sedition, you know. And they should not regard their king nor princes, meaning that the king and the princess that run this world, the Rothschilds family, stuff like that, your bankers. But the thing is who do they send out there? Well, they send a police force out there. They not regarding the police force. They don't care. They out there marching. They ready to fight. Even if they got to fight against the police. And the course of their actions should stand in their power, right? So they going to stand in power, man. They going to be getting the one up on the police force and stuff like that in the National Guard, right? Verse 17, a man should desire to go into the city and should not be able. Why? Because when all this stuff start to happen like that, man, they're going to have to shut it down. They're going to need checkpoints, and they're going to have to shut the city down to stop letting more militias come into the city. So there's a bigger fight, right? Verse 18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and man should be afraid. Man gonna be afraid because you never know when you're gonna be killed. You're gonna be looking over your shoulder and to the end, man. Verse 19, and a man should have no pity upon his neighbor. So you're not gonna have no pity on nobody else. Nobody's gonna have pity on you, man, because it's gonna be every man for theyself, every group for theyself. And shall destroy their houses with the sword. What's the sword, man? Guns. They're going to destroy your house and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread for great tribulation. Remember, we was talking about the famine in Matthew chapter 24. They're going to be running in people's houses, destroying your houses, looking for food because it's going to be a famine. You know, and when people get hungry, they turn into animals, man. You know, it's only so long you could sit there and just try to be a good person. Then your stomach get to growling. You got kids, your wife's stomach growling. Y'all getting hungry. Y'all been fasting for the last 2 days. You got to go out there and get some food, man. You got a gun in your hand. What do you think they're gonna do? People are gonna go next door. People are gonna go to the next house and say, "Man, can I borrow some food?" Right? And then you're kind of gonna answer. You're gonna answer your door, but you ain't gonna open it all the way. And you're gonna say, "Nah, we ain't got that much food. We running low. We only got enough food for us. We can't help you." They gonna leave. Kind of mad. They gonna leave and go home, and they're gonna sit down and they're gonna plot. They're gonna plot like, okay, so and so has this food over there. They don't want to give us none, cause honestly they can't, or they gonna run out of food. But we need it, so they gonna wait until late night, 3, 4 in the morning. You know, probably come knock at your door to see if anybody there. You know, you're gonna have to answer the door with your gun. You might answer the door to a shootout. You might hear a crack in your window while you sleeping, and they done came through your window, and now you in the house and you got to defend your family. You might get them, they might get you, and then take your goods. These are real situations that's coming, man. You got to be prepared for it, you know. First of all, spiritually, you got to get your spirit right, man. So the Lord can be there for you if you're an Israelite, right? Verse 20, behold, say God, I will call together all the kings of earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, meaning the whole world, man. And Lebanon to turn himself one against another and repay the things that they have done to them. So it's the Lord that's behind this, that's stirring this all up. The Lord is making all these different nations turn themselves one against another. So could it be stopped? No. Can't nobody stop this from happening. It's going to happen because it's the Lord that's doing it. You know? I'm going to leave it there. Salvation to the elect. Shalom.
Fearing assassination, his bodyguards surround him at every moment.
Jay's moving back, y'all. Jay's moving back.
What is clear is that these militias have a new swagger. While the election campaign gathers pace.